What's that?
It's probably one of them is the mobile view. So if you were looking at it on a phone.
Well, look at this, man.
Yeah.
StreamYard coming up. All right, here we go. I think we are too.
Welcome back to the Max Effort Kitchen podcast. We got a great segment for you. It's called The Athlete and the Chef. So sit back, relax, and let's go.
All right, welcome back to the Max Effort Kitchen. Cornell, how you doing today, buddy?
Good. That was we discussed off air. There's a lot of different stuff going on right here. And when you just hit that, normally I hear stuff going on and I see a countdown and it went black and it said your video is having a problem. And I was like,
oh God,
we're about to figure this out real quick, or we're about to go live. So let's go live.
Yeah, let's go live. Let's do it. This StreamYard is what I use, and it's coming out with all kinds of weird. Every time I open it, there's a new update. Not a bad thing, but I generally don't take advantage of the updates. I don't know what this is. I don't have time to look at it right now. I just wanted to go live. I'll probably figure it out a little later, though. But I think you're right. I think what we're seeing on the side here, which I'm going to guess that viewers aren't seeing this. Is the mobile view if you were watching it on your mobile. So that's cool.
That's my guess.
It's my guess too.
I'm gonna sound like an old person right here, but I'm really sick of all of these updates happening where you have no choice.
I know,
including your cell phone, and all of a sudden I don't know how to get to anything, and just stupid stuff. Like I keep a lot of windows open in my Safari.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know where they all went. I don't know how to get to them. It takes about. And it doesn't sound like it's going to, big deal, shut up. It's like, it takes like 5 or 6 seconds to figure out where they go. And I'm like, but that 5 or 6 seconds happens a couple times a day. And I'm like,
dude. And then for me, it's like, I'll speak to one specific thing on the phone update, which is when you're going to look for a person or send a new message, the button used to be up at the top corner. Mm-hmm. Now it's at the bottom corner. And I'm like hitting that top corner being like, why isn't it going anywhere? And I'm doing that 3 or 4 times a day. And it takes 5 seconds, but if you keep on, it's just like, keep things a little bit like normal.
By the time you figure it out, they update you again.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Hey, I don't know if you can see this, but I can see this. And it just popped on and it said we have 19 viewers.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
How about that? Live show, 19 viewers, Sunday at 2:00. Who knew? So, Cornell, it's, I had somebody reach out and be like, hey, you guys, talk about some holiday foods. And I was like, holiday foods. I like that idea. That's a great idea. Like, what's a staple like that you do during the holidays that it's like it's either expected or it's just something you really enjoy doing?
For actual like holiday food,
or just around this time, is there something you make?
Yeah, that's one thing I would definitely say. I make a lot more waffles.
Yeah,
that's probably
I like that.
Things. It's not something, maybe it's like the winter body and getting insulated and all that kind of stuff versus summer body and not wanting to be insulated. Where I'm good with being a little fluffier. That would be one thing that for some reason, waffles for breakfast, chicken waffles for dinner. For some reason, it's a lot of waffles. And then every winter, or like you end up ordering, because we do a lot of coffee over here, like the peppermint syrup. And if you're doing peppermint coffees, peppermint latte, peppermint iced, no, you need vanilla as well. If you just start putting vanilla or peppermint in it, it's way too strong. It's like toothpaste. So about a 50-50 cup vanilla with peppermint, and you're good on that.
Yeah. You said waffles, and I got to go back to that because I just saw something that I saw somebody do, and it's a Yukon Gold waffle. You're familiar with those yellow, or no, I'm sorry, Yukon Gold potato. It's the yellow potatoes. They're called waxy potatoes. You know, russets are a starchy. This is a waxy potato. It's just a little bit different in consistency.
Yep.
Okay, so I saw a woman take it and boil it whole. You know, poke a couple holes in it, pot, water, boil until you can push something straight through it. And then from there, you put it straight into the waffle iron, you know, bring it down, and the skin crunches up and actually holds the form of an actual waffle.
Wow.
And then she made a bunch of like some sort of curried chicken or whatever and put it over top of it. But I'm sure you could do anything over top of that. Now, have you ever done this? Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. I've seen it with like stuffing where people are making, you know, like a stuffing waffle, like a Thanksgiving dinner on a waffle maker or whatever. Have you ever done anything like this before?
I've not done that, but I have done chocolate chip cookies in the waffle maker and brownies in the waffle maker.
Okay. And the chocolate chip cookies you've told me about.
Yeah, it's quick, it's fast. Yep. You're not baking for, God forbid we wait 9 minutes.
Yeah, right.
But it's faster, it's easy. It works really well if the waffle maker's out already for whatever reason, and it's still out because no one in my household puts anything away.
Right.
And I haven't had like a bucket of cookie dough in a while, but if you do, then you just like kind of carve out a chunk and throw it in there and cook it, and by the time it's done, your ice cream's out and you're ready to scoop it, and it's just the perfect combo.
That's sweet. And I like that. I think that's fun. It's easy for kids to do. Like, why not? You know what I mean? Like, I like how you put it too, though. It's like, it's a convenience type thing. You can put it in there. Doesn't take long, and boom, you got a fun little dessert. So
probably 10 plus years ago, we tried the egg thing too. Like we pour the scrambled eggs, but I think I did it once and that was about it.
Yeah. Makes sense. You know, for me, it's, you know, it's always a big, we do an onslaught of like desserts. You know, the one thing I don't usually make is fudge, but it's a lot of cookies. It's a lot of like different types of muffins, stuff like that. But for food, we usually do a rib roast of some sort. And that's always been a really go-to thing for us. I like the rib roast. I think it has a good fat content. You can do a lot of things with it. You can flavor it. You can cut it into steaks. You can stuff it, and it cooks really well. So it always works well for us. This year is going to be a little bit different. We are going to hit up some of our family friends that have invited us over to a Vietnamese celebration on Christmas Eve, and it's after the afternoon mass, and we're going to go to their house and do like a white elephant and you know, eat some really good food. Last time we went over there, they did a lot of did pork belly like 3 different ways. And, you know, you and I probably, I mean, I don't know what your experience with pork belly is, but you know, most people know it in a certain, like one way, like really fatty, crunchy skin on top, whatever. They cook it like really small chunks where it's like almost like they're frying it, and then they put in a bunch of rice, and then they do like these little like steaks with it that are just caramelized perfect on both sides. Wow. Dude, you wouldn't know it's pork belly. It tastes like the best little pork chop ever, but it's they do some really good things. And the one thing you can always count on is there's always like a couple different types of rice. And one of the things they do is a garlic rice, and I love it. And they're just using garlic oil. They're making the rice and then almost doing like a fried rice situation with garlic oil. And it's it's like so simple, but so good. So we're going to go over there and do that this year and be a little bit different. I think it'll be fun.
That sounds great. So you sent me the recipe for that dressing that I made the other day.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah. But we don't generally have buttermilk in our house, but
neither do we.
I had half of a carton left. And then this morning at 5:30 when I woke up, I was scrolling through Instagram. And have you ever made butter swim biscuits?
I have not.
Holy hell.
Love it, dude.
I'm going to read you let me just skip to the recipe. This isn't necessarily the one that I use because I was on a different phone, but it might be. Here's all. Yeah, this is it. This is the whole ingredient list right here. 2.5 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon granulated sugar. I ended up using honey for not any real reason. Just I heard it was supposed, if you use honey as part instead of regular sugar for certain things, it'll be more moist long term. And I was just like, I'm just going to throw it in here because whatever. 2 tablespoons kosher salt, 2 cups butter, half stick of unsalted butter.
Okay.
That's it. You don't mix any butter into the stuff. So what I did is I don't have the microwave here. It's not working. We have a microwave, but it doesn't work. So I just threw the pan in the oven at 450 and I just let the butter melt in there. You mix all the other stuff up, you plop it in there and you cook it for 28 minutes, pull it out, and the butter is just boiling all around it, and you let it cool down and all the butter soaks in. And it's like the crunchiest. There's like no salt in it, just the stuff that I mean, barely any salt, but it's like this super crunchy biscuit that loaf, and it's amazing. And it's probably going to become a very common thing around here.
That sounds amazing. Please, when you get time, text me that recipe because I would love that. That sounds fantastic. And so then you just ate the biscuits. I immediately go to biscuits and gravy, but so
I'm not gonna deal with making gravy. But I ate one just right when it was cool enough. Once all the butter stopped boiling and it sucked into it, then I just was like, all right. And the funny part is, most people don't want like the corners.
Yeah.
Well, the corner was actually the best part because you had so much more of the crunch. So I first just cut out a corner and ate that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then I came back later and I ate another one. And then when everyone started waking up, then I made some sausage and some eggs and made like a little sandwich with it. And it was
nice.
It's something that I will probably just memorize the recipe. And it's because it's so little things and so easy that it'll definitely turn into a staple. So.
Heck yeah, dude. And I love stuff like that is like just turns into like it's easy to do and it's really good. And it's like this is gonna stick, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, and the only thing that I'll have to buy is buttermilk, and that's not
nice.
I can make buttermilk too.
You can make buttermilk. You just put vinegar in it. And
and then I also learned one other thing real quick.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
So I always experiment with coffee.
Okay.
And I had a little tiny bit of buttermilk left. So I'm like, let me steam this up and let's see how a latte works with buttermilk. It curdles and I threw it all away. So don't do that.
Yeah, it's highly volatile with heat, which is funny because it's baked with a lot. So I'm not really sure why that works out like that. But yeah, I thought about that too, dude. And I don't know why they call it buttermilk, to be honest with you, like, because it's just a really high, it's basically vinegar and milk. That's all. And I learned something with buttermilk this season, which I did. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to turn out, but it turned out really well. And which I might've said this last time, but I took my turkey breast that I made for Thanksgiving and I got dry buttermilk, so powdered buttermilk. And I basically coated the entire thing with the powdered buttermilk. The browning that happened on this turkey breast was some of the best browning I've ever seen. And I was like, it was just a dry brine. It was 24 hours. Cover it in that buttermilk powder. Leave it uncovered in the fridge for overnight. Take it out, and then just put it straight into the cooker, which I have a little, there's nothing little about it, but it's a turkey cooker. It's a countertop one, but it works really well. But one of the things about it is like, it doesn't ever brown things very well. But this thing browned and it was awesome. Awesome.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So, the smell is very off-putting. When you're actually putting the powder on there, you're like, this can't work, but it does. But it does. Yeah. So Yeah, lots of good food talk, man. I like that. Cornell. The sport of weightlifting is so much fun, and we have a lot of huge victories in it, and a lot of good confidence builders and relationships, and we talk about this all the time. But there are some kind of I'm going to say challenging parts to it, and here's where I've always been challenged, and it's been in every instance, and there's no singling out here, but where I'm challenged, and I think this happens everywhere and in a lot of different industries, but I'm going to stick to weightlifting because I'm challenged in the aspect of like the idea or the ego that goes into it. And I've met a lot of coaches. I've had 3 or 4 coaches. I've met coaches from clinics and stuff like that. And the egos are very much all over the place. Like some just come in and have a good time and not a big deal. But some are very specific about what they want you to do. And that's, I can respect it both ways. But something I said to my coach over the week was like, hey, you and I both know that there's no such thing as the perfect program. And he agreed with me. But one thing I wanted to pose a question to you, and this is a question that came up in my head just the other day. I was like driving, I was thinking about this, and I'm like, well, how could I phrase this? But in your opinion, have you ever seen a program make a weightlifter, or is it the weightlifter that makes the program?
I think that the weightlifter makes the program.
Yeah.
If the program made the weightlifter, everyone would have the same result.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think that everybody. I'm not a fan of individualized programming for everybody because I don't think anyone's that special.
Yeah,
I'm not opposed to modifying programs more on the fly, and this works much better if you're an in-person coach and your coach is watching you. They're going to be like, you know what? Maybe go a little bit heavier. Hey, it doesn't look that great today, or it looks heavy today. Maybe you should just drop down and work on technique. I think that that's more important. But yeah, keep going with what you were going, and I'll pipe in because I have a couple things, but I don't want to cut you off.
No, it's fine. And so, I agree with you on that format. Like, I don't know if there's ever been a program out there that has made a weightlifter, because you're right. I think that if there was, everybody would be using that program and it would be a thing. But that's not the case because every coach that I've seen and talked to or had personally has different philosophies around lifting. Now we do hear like the big names. Okay, so we got the Pendlay, right? We know about that. West Coast weightlifting. Is that a thing? Is that
West Side was powerlifting.
West Side. That's powerlifting. Okay.
There was and probably still is the LSUS method. Yes. That was I don't know too much about that but from what I kind of remember from listening back to other podcasts is that was what Kendrick Ferris did for basically his whole career. Okay. And he did one program and they finished it and they started over and they finished it and they started over.
Wow.
And I remember hearing a podcast where they're kind of joking around where they're like, the reason that Kendrick didn't do that great in the Olympics is because he competed on a Friday and Thursday was his snatch day.
So, well, that would suck. Yeah. If that was true, but I highly doubt it. I mean, you do what you do at a competition because I have a buddy that likes to say any given Sunday, but any given day on a platform is really how you're going to be. The way I say that because I came out of a session yesterday where I was like 2 weeks ago, I was pulling, 110 over my head and landing it, and it felt fairly manageable than it's ever felt. But yesterday I couldn't hit a 100 kilo snatch, and I understand the details within that. It doesn't it used to get to me, but it doesn't anymore. Now, when it comes to these different types of methodologies, I think they're built for specific athletes that are seeing results, and then you take it and you put it into another athlete, and you're like, wait a minute, why isn't that athlete seeing the same results? Athletes are different, but the whole idea to think and that one program is going to get you to where you need to be is kind of, I don't want to say ignorant, but it's just a little immature in that sense, because I think that first, as weightlifters, we have to be versatile. We have to be able to try multiple programs. We have to do it in order to be good and to figure out what works for you and to build a knowledge base, because ultimately we are responsible for our lifting. And that's the way I see it. I'm never going to look at a coach and be like, you know what? I failed because of you. Now, have I done that? Yeah, in a fit of rage and being an immature child, I've done that, in my early days. But I look at it now as like, and I also said this to my current coach, and I was like, to me, what makes an athlete great in the competition realm is the relationship between the athlete and the coach. Because if you have that strong relationship and that respect for one another and that trust for one another, then you can manipulate, you can adapt, you can pivot, you can be very fluid with your training. And I think the fluidity is where you start to see success, because our bodies are so different and we deal with different stressors and mental stuff and emotional stuff and physical stuff all day, and especially as masters athletes all day. And so I guess that's where I'm coming. I'm going to land, is that the success of an athlete is not the program. It's the relationship they have with their coach.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in the past, but I just brought up ego versus pride. And it's just showing like a side-by-side comparison. There's a bunch of different stuff, but one of the things is ego is one's feeling about her own self, feeling of I, me, myself. Pride is an emotion which is the result of one's achievements or success.
Okay.
Another one, ego could be hurt very easily. Opposite of pride is disappointment.
Interesting.
Ego may be based on false ideas and thoughts. Pride arises as a result of the achievement or success. I mean, there's a handful more, but yeah, I've always felt that the ego is what people fluff themselves up to be and to think that they like being overly cocky rather than showing what you've done. Not talking about what you plan on doing, but showing the results. And I've been a big fan of that we were on a team, and there's some people that I've talked to, and I had this conversation the other day with someone who was on our team as well. And I said, I was telling him about a relationship that is no longer there anymore with a former teammate. And they got all pissed off because they thought that we were talking about on this show about some stuff that was going on there that we shouldn't have talked about, because that was done in a private coaching session and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and I told this person, I said, this show is about my and our experience weightlifting. Yeah. I've been lifting for about a little over a dozen years, and that was a 3-year block. I'm not cutting that out. And they just got all, I'm like, and one of our other friends, Josh, he has a great phrase that I love, which is a guilty conscience feels guilty. Yeah. So I was not talking about this specific person, and I was not really talking about this. I was talking about a coaching situation that happened with this person, not with this person, just on this team. And he immediately thought we were coming after him. And I was like, I was not coming after you. And I don't know why you think I was, but guilty conscience feels guilt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very true. Go ahead. Sorry.
But they were just always talking about you have to have a big ego to do this sport. And I'm like, no, I'd rather take pride in the work that I've done instead of tell everyone what I'm about to do and then go 2 for 6.
Yeah.
And just because you opened heavier than you've ever opened, that doesn't mean you really went 6 for 6 because you opened it what would have been your 3rd attempt. That's all a bunch of BS. So,
yeah, and I'm with you on that. You know, the thing about this show is that, and you summed it up really well, is that we're just talking about our experiences. And I, you know, on our last show, it was perceived that I had said that I just do what I want and I don't do my coach's program, but that's not true. I absolutely do my coach's program. I manipulate a couple aspects of it just to fit my body. And like I told him, hey, you know, if you were sitting in a chair in my garage every time I lifted, you would do the same thing. And I know you well enough to say that. You would change these things and you would be like, no, you're going to do this today instead because of what I saw yesterday or whatever. But that's not the case, and that's not reality in the sport. You know, I was explaining this to somebody who was outside of the sport the other day because they were like, you know, tell me about what you do in this weightlifting stuff. And you know, so I was like, okay, here we go. Well, I don't
long version or the short version.
Short
version of
the
pick up
beds.
things.
Yeah, I know. I'm not like tanning, and I'm not like, it's not a pageant, but here's what I do. And I went through it. I go, and at the end of what I said, I go, but don't get it twisted. This is very much an amateur sport. You know, this is something, and they're like, oh, so you're not like sponsored. I was like, no, not sponsored. I pay to fly. I pay to compete. I pay for coaching. I pay. So everything is I'm outward. If I was a business in weightlifting, I would be considered unsuccessful. so then, and it's funny because I was also doing some tax stuff this weekend, and I was going through that, and it was like, what does the government think of a hobby? Something that does not bring any income but pays out a lot. So like, there we are. This is the hobby, and it is. And it's an amateur sport. And can we take it seriously? Absolutely, take it seriously. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm really putting out there is that, like, you know, we use this podcast to talk about our experience to hopefully help somebody. If you hear one thing, great. If you hear 2 things, awesome. And if you have questions, always ask. But at the same point, like, we're not talking shit. We're just using our experiences. And there's nothing, I don't know if there's anything on here that I've necessarily fabricated. Can I exaggerate a little bit? Absolutely. We all do it. And I will admit when I do exaggerate. Like, I think I exaggerated last time. And I said, like, Joe programmed me five sets of 8 reps on the squats. That don't happen, but he definitely gives me 8 reps. And I'm like, no, dude. So what I'm trying to say is there on this show does have a level of sarcasm, and the show does have a level of, like, kind of joking around and playing a little bit. Don't take it so seriously. You know, like, we're just having fun. We're being us. We're giving our experiences. There's a lot of people out here that love what we do. And it's funny because I wanted to go ask Cornell, like, I wanted to go and completely revamp everything. But what the feedback we got was like, keep doing what you guys are doing. We love it. Yeah. So it's like, there it is. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. One of the other little bits that I'll throw in there as I've discussed this is, when you choose to modify your program, what you're doing is taking responsibility for how you're going to do.
Yeah.
So let's say a coach gives you a program and they want you to stick to it 100%, and you start missing.
Yeah.
Well, I got to stick to the program. I mean, the program it was given to me, so I need to stick to it. And it took 19 attempts, but I made it. So I guess I did it. But then the next day, you go out to lift and you can barely move, and you're supposed to hit 80%, and you again 20 attempts to make. It's like, no, it's not how it's going to go. But I have found that so many people who want to stick to the program to a T don't want to take responsibility for them doing bad. And when they fail or they get hurt, then they have someone to blame.
Yes.
And
yeah.
But if they, let's say that they just so happen to have this great cycle and this great competition, then it's all them. It's not the program they were following. It was all them. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, I think I'm going to start offering coaching. I just did this and I'll program for people. How hard can it be? I'm just going to take that one program and I'll just kind of put my own little spin on it and it'll do great things.
By the way, Cornell, I'm selling a 7-week program on the side.
All right.
No. And yes, you're right. And I think something I've always wanted to say to coaches and see kind of from a coach's perspective. Now you're a coach, but we are very much aligned on how we think. So I would like to see somebody that maybe not as aligned and be like, hey, listen, if I do program A to the T, and this is kind of what you just said, but this has literally happened to me. So program A to the T, and I'm hitting 98% of my max. But then I take program A with the X factor of a couple manipulations that I make, and then next thing you know, I'm hitting 102%. So what is it? So what is it? Is it the combination of the two? Is it, so like, where do we want to be? We want to keep on progressing. And this is why I talk about the relationship with your coach, because you got to have the balls to tell them this.
Yeah.
Like, hey, and I'm just going to use Joe. Joe, hey, check it out. Instead of tempos, I did pulls. And guess what? I hit I hit 5 kilos over what you programmed for me. And, it's like, okay, cool. I like that. You're hitting good numbers. And as a coach, they're going to most likely come back and say, okay, that's great. It's great. Just don't get hurt doing that. Okay, awesome. We'll talk about that next time. And, and so it's like Joe's big philosophy is like, if you feel it, take a hit. If you miss it twice, stop. If you've done the program, make sure you do the program. But then if you're feeling it, take a hit and don't get hurt. So don't get hurt. And then, 2 misses and done. And I think that's a good way to look at it. But I love what you said. The weightlifter is taking accountability for what's going on. And I think that's, it's a very rare thing because we like to be able to blame somebody, right? Mm-hmm. When something goes wrong, you got to point a finger, like, why did this happen? I have a phrase that I talk about with my kids, and I don't always use this. I don't want to sound holier than thou, so I don't always use this, but I do try. And it's, when something bad happens, look in the mirror, because that's your problem and your solution. And that's really the place to start.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of, there was something else, but I don't remember what it was. So whatever.
Okay.
It probably wasn't that important.
Yeah.
Now no one else is going to the Olympics because I forgot. Back to the occasionally somewhat exaggerating some of the stuff.
Yeah.
The other problem is that a lot of the stuff that we talk about, it's not like it happened today. It could have happened a week ago. It could have happened a month ago, and it could have happened 9 years ago.
Yeah.
We're doing the best we can to remember what happened.
We're old guys.
So, and just because something happened once, it might have replayed a couple times in our head. And like, we mix things up. And like, if you think about how many different weeks of programming we've done, they eventually just start to mush together. So, yeah, they really do. And, shoot, you're 12 plus years. I'm 8 plus years. It's been there's no other sport I want to be a part of, and I love everything about it. And so don't get this part of it wrong. And the fact of like, yes, it's an amateur sport. Yes. We're not professionals. We're not getting paid. We're not going to the Olympics. That's okay. But don't discount what people are doing. And like, for instance, the Howard Cohen, I had a handful of teammates / friends out there lifting, and there's a couple of them that just
accomplished pretty big things.
Yeah.
Like, like Brett, dude, he hit, his the Grand Slam? Is that what it's called?
Grand Slam. Yep.
Like third year in a row, second or third year in a row. And
yeah,
that's
I know Heather got
incredible.
her second one, I believe, as well.
Heather got her second one. Yep. Konar medaled, took gold medals, dude. Like, these are things that we celebrate each other for. And I think that's the beauty of the sport, is that, like, you can celebrate, but hey, the work's never really done. And there's no perfect way of doing it. And I think if we remember that as lifters and coaches, that there's no perfect way. Let's just and we're humans are very community driven. So it's like, nobody's ever going to do it on their own. We're going to do it through a combination of people and experiences in life. And I think that's probably the best way I can sum it up.
Yeah, I think one other thing just to throw in there really quick. I think coaches should kind of take a look at what's the goal: to lift as much as possible, or to lift as long as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, we all want everybody to lift as much as possible, but I think that it's more fun, and people will stick with it longer if they have as much fun as possible. Because if they're continuing to have fun, they're going to continue to do the extra stuff that it takes to continue to do this. And like, what's more impressive? Someone hitting, let's say they're a master lifter, and they're getting to that, like, oh, I'm getting a little pudgy. They're not a lifter yet, and they want to look into something to do. 35 years old, they start lifting, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you kind of got a knack for this. And they snatch 100 kilos in the first year. And the coach is like, I think we can get them up to 120 in the next 6 months. And they just push. They snatch 120, then they get hurt and they burn out.
Yep.
Or someone who's like, you snatched 100 in the first year. That's pretty good. Let's try to hit 110 by the end of the year, but let's not just push to the point where we're getting hurt. And then the next year we'll go for 120. And then you're still not that old. Like, you still have time to get up to some of these much bigger numbers. And so a lot of these numbers, if you don't have it in the first year and a half, it could take you 5 years to get there.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to think of somebody. There was a guy on our last team who was very good. Like, I want to say about a year in, he cleaned 405 pounds.
Yeah, I know.
And he was like 19 years old. And he was on the program / team before the small team got together. And then he joined that team about 6 months into the team starting. And I told the coach, I'm like, he's going to quit. He's like, no, he's not going to quit. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And I was like, nope, he's going to quit. And he goes, why do you think he's going to quit? And I go, it's too easy. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, he's a year and a half in, and he's hit numbers that people will lift for 10 years trying to hit.
Yeah. Like,
this isn't hard for him. He doesn't have to work at it to hit these numbers. So it's not going to keep his attention.
Yeah.
And about 3 months later, he quit. He didn't quit the team. He quit weightlifting.
See, and that right there, like, okay. And this is also another, and I'm so glad you said that, because I think you and I can both agree that this sport can be very hard. It can be hard on our bodies. It can be hard on our mental.
If people don't know what's going on right now, I have a heat pack on my back right now.
Nice. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I took a very hot bath right before this, because I was like getting out of the car. I'm like, oh God, everything is just creaking and hurting. So right there with you. This sport is hard. But guess what? There are sports out there that are harder. There are sports out there that are easier, but there are sports out there that are harder. And, we have a good friend that had just experienced that. And it's like, it really brought attention to the fact that, like, boy, as weightlifters, we might not fully understand on how hard it is out there. And And that's okay, because that's what you do. You go out there and you do it, and then you try something, and then you can, after you try it, you can say, you know what, I'm either going to do this or I'm going to go do something else. And no, there's no wrong answer there, but I think I want to bring light to the fact that this sport of weightlifting is hard, but there are harder things out there. And that's good. I don't think that's talked about enough in this sport, because it's always like, oh man, I'm in the dark hole of weightlifting. Yeah, it's a dark hole, but like, hey, when you walk out of the gym, you're still alive. You're still a human. You still probably have people around you that love you, and it doesn't have to be a dark hole.
Yeah. Also, keep your head up and you see the light.
Yeah. When you see that light,
it's a lot darker. If you don't want to, if you can make it a lot darker. It doesn't have to be dark.
Yeah. And that's hey, you know what I always say, Cornell, life's only as hard as you make it. But it is one of those things that, like, it brought attention to me of like, okay, I know it's hard. There's harder shit out there. So much respect to people who go out there and try those harder things, because, it's just like anything else. When you get somebody that comes into the sport, like I just scheduled a podcast with somebody that I'm really looking forward to doing. It's going to be in January, but she started the sport 2 years ago, and she was coming out of, some rough life choices, but she didn't know what the sport was, and she just signed herself up for a competition unknowing what she was actually doing. No coach, no nothing. But she started there about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and she just competed in finals and walked away with 3 gold medals. So
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and she's a masters lifter, which we have respect for the masters lifter on this show. But she has kids, she has a career, all that stuff. So people do that stuff. And it's, I don't know. I guess you can only judge a person by the character, like how they act and the choices they make in life. And I think that when we do hard things, some people will give up, but some people will say, you know what, I'm gonna adapt. I'm gonna switch. I'm going to pivot and make this work because I want to accomplish this. And I like that. And I think we have a friend that just had shit happen that is doing that. And I think it's freaking mad respect for that, because that's not an easy thing to do. And in my opinion, what do humans have the hardest thing to do in life? And that's be vulnerable. It's hard to be vulnerable. And that's what that shows.
Yeah. A couple phrases I've heard a lot. If you want to get good at something, get used to being bad at it.
Yeah. Boy,
I've loved that one, because it's like, oh yeah, think about 8 years ago for you. Like, what was it like lifting? It's like, you watch a video now, you're like, oh, I kind of want to just delete this, but I also want to be able to look at it to see where I've come from.
Never want to see it again. Yes. Boy.
And then one other part that I really enjoy about feeling as trashy and crappy as I do is I know this is self-inflicted. And if I take a couple of days off, my body feels great.
Yeah.
And I'm a little younger than you, but I'm at the age where I know so many people who are in so much pain because they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't get out of that. Like, it's going to be a whole lot harder to dig yourself out of that hole than for me just to take a couple of days off or transition my training a little bit, and I can feel amazing. Yeah. And I can feel that way if I go on vacation. And let's say not that I've gone on vacation for 2 weeks, but I know that if I went on vacation for 2 weeks, after about 3 days of not lifting, my body's going to feel so good, and I'm going to be able to do anything I want and not feel like garbage. And I mean, I talked to a guy like 6 months ago, and he went on vacation, and like day 2 of his vacation, his back went out and he couldn't do anything for like 5 days. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Oh boy, how pissed off would I be? But yeah, you're right, dude. What does that mean? Like, that, okay. I'm not going to
go too far on this, but when I first started CrossFit, the mantra that they would say was two things. It was, do this so you can basically wipe your ass when you're 70.
Yeah.
and do this so you can look good naked. I don't care about the look good naked stuff. I'm
I
married.
look good naked at 70.
Yeah, me too. My wife probably wants me to look good naked. So that's cool. I get that. But at the same point, like, I like that mantra of like, do things so when you're 70 or at the age of where people generally feel like they have to stop doing things, you can still twist and turn and give up and walk stairs and go on walks and maybe swim laps and run, whatever you want to do. There's 70-year-old weightlifters out there, for God's sake. Like, it's just do something. And I'm not perfect, or I'm not the best one to always talk about what people should do, but I talk about the things that I do and the things that I like. And I want to move all my life. I want to be doing something all my life.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And
yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think my chiropractor from like 10 years ago, they had this big sign on the wall, and it said like, numbness is, if you're numb, you're going towards death, and if you're in pain, it's showing that you're alive, or something. It was something like that.
Oh, interesting.
And because they're
that.
dealing with old people all the time, it's like, oh yeah, my shoulder's going numb, or this is bad, and this is bad. It's like, oh, stuff is not functioning properly in your body. We don't want it to be numb. We're okay with it kind of hurting because it shows that your nerves are still working, but when it's numb, it's not working anymore.
Right. So, I think one last thing I'll say about this is that one byproduct of us doing a sport or moving or, being active, let's just say that, is that we do things around it for recovery. And I think those are things that are good for our body, regardless if we're active or not. And so it's like we're constantly like doing things for recovery. And I think that actually helps the body function on a daily basis. And that's a great byproduct of it, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I don't know. Been a great show, dude. 47 minutes. I like it. Cool. I also like doing this time because we don't have a time constraint necessarily. And like, I think I'm done talking. It's 47 minutes. You got anything else to say?
I was just going to ask when do you get your program normally? Is it like a week? Do you get the whole week, or do you get just the day, or how does it?
Yeah.
When do you normally get it?
I get it by Sunday night, Monday morning-ish is when it's uploaded. Okay. And it's the entire week. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Those are the days I lift. That's what I'm programmed. And I get it Sunday. But that said, I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing. I used to think I was a badass because I did this, but I don't look at it until I actually walk into the gym. Like I don't look at it, and then I look at it, I write it down on a whiteboard, and I have to put my phone away. If I have my phone out, it makes for the worst lifting session. And it just, I get so distracted, or my mind goes other places. Boy. So I write my thing from the program onto my whiteboard. That's the first time I'm seeing it. And generally, but the thing about my programming is it's usually in 4-week blocks. So it's always the same movement. It's just different weights.
Okay. So I'll probably say stuff coaches don't want to hear, but I don't care. I don't have someone who's programming for me at the moment. So this is the way I do it.
Yeah.
Or used to do it, or will do it. Or when I do it, this is how I do it. I read what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I go set my phone on the tripod. I hit record. I walk away.
I love it.
Everything else is based on memory. It's like, I'm going to snatch. I only look at top sets and I see how many sets I have to do.
Yeah.
It's like the goal is to get there. Okay. There was roughly 8 to 6, 7. Someone asked about that on the thing.
Yes.
6 to 7 sets to get there. If it's 6, all right, I'm going to get there pretty quick. If it's 10, it's like, okay, you want me to take some smaller jumps.
Yeah.
I'm not paying too much attention to all the little details.
Yeah.
Everything before that to me is we're just warming up to this top set. So I'm going to get there. And then the next thing is I'm supposed to clean and jerk, and I'm supposed to clean jerk 150 for 4 reps, 4 singles. And there was 6 warm-ups before that. I don't care about that. 4 singles at 150. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm supposed to squat 200 kilos for 3 sets of 2. Okay. This is like before I've even touched the bar. From that point on, I'm going off of memory, and it's going off of how I feel for the day. And I know what the goal is, and then I just try to get there. What I ended up doing yesterday is I walked up to my friend Antoinette and I said, okay, this is like, we're 2 weeks into this new training style that I'm doing. I was like, I picked up the bar today. It felt like the 15 kilo bar. So I know it's going to be a good day. The hips feel good. The back feels good. The knees feel good. What's my minimum and what's my maximum for the day? And she's like, what? I'm like, you're going to be my limiter right now. What's the minimum I have to hit?
Right.
And then what's the top I'm not allowed to go heavier? And she said 120 is your minimum, and you're not allowed to go heavier than 135. So I'm loading up 110. When I got to 110, I was like, this is my last warm up. And she's like, all right. And I powered it. And she goes, oh yeah, when I gave you those numbers, I wasn't expecting you to hit powers. So then I jumped to 120. Felt great. 125. I missed it. And I was like, all right, well, went one more time, made it, went to 130. And I was like, that was it. That's my maximum for the day. I'm not even going to try 135 because 130 felt like I couldn't hit 131.
Right.
But it just worked good where I'm like, I want to have a range that I'm going for. And I'm also not going to stick so much to my program because I want to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that. And I've learned a little bit of that from you over the years. So here's how I kind of manipulate my stuff. And here's one thing that you just said that I'm like, man, I should really incorporate that, which is what is the minimum that I have to hit? I guess in my head, the minimum I've always had to hit is like that top set that my coach is programming. So like if he programs me up to 100 kilos in the snatch, that's my minimum. I have to hit that. And then I'm like, if I feel good, I'm going to take one more crack at something heavy. Or I'm going to do like, he programs me pulls, on Tuesday. So heavy snatch pulls. But his pulls are like at 105 to 110, but I'm going 105, 110, 120, 125 because I'm constantly trying to feel that bar at that grip, at that, body motion. I want to feel 120. I want to feel what it feels like to get it to my hips. And then maybe, in a couple of weeks, I can see what it feels like to get it above my hips. And maybe it's more of like by my nipples, like it's a high pull. Because if we don't ever feel it, how the hell are we going to know if we're going to hit it? Like, let's feel that way. And that's the way I guess my brain works. But what I did like on Thursday was it was supposed to be 110 kilos for 2 reps, then 120 for 1, 125 for 2, 125 for 2, 130 for 1, and then done. So instead I did 110, 120 for 2, 125, 130. And then I said, fuck it, I'm doing 135 because it feels good. And I did it and it felt good. And I walked away. So that right there is how I will manipulate a program because I want to hit 135 in this competition coming up. And if I have had the experience that if I don't touch it coming into the competition, where's my confidence on that? Like, I've just got to pull and pray. I've never been good at pull and pray. Like, I don't know, So I like what you said about the minimum. That makes complete sense. And I'm going to incorporate that. This is what I have to hit today. This is what I want to hit today.
All right. Well, I'm going to modify it for you right now.
Cool.
Your minimum should not be your top set.
All right.
Your minimum should be if you're feeling good.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about master, as who we are, not for just a blanket program.
Yeah.
Your minimum is going to be your last one, the last one before that. So if
So
you
90 kilos.
if your written was supposed to be 130,
Yeah.
your minimum
Okay.
would be the 25.
Okay.
And
I
then
like that.
you did it properly where your maximum for the day is going to be one more attempt after. Because if you're saying the minimum I have to hit is what's programmed, it's like, what if you feel like crap? What if it's an off day? What if it's this? What if it's that?
Yeah.
Like, remember when I did my squat every day for 250 days in a row?
Yeah, I do.
I set the minimum at 400 pounds.
Right.
I had probably at least a dozen people who wanted to do it as well. And they kept saying, like, I'm raising my minimum. I'm like, nope, you don't do that. And they're like,
you don't.
No, this is too easy. I'm like, it's not your maximum. It's your minimum.
It's your minimum. Yeah.
And that's what you have to be able to hit no matter what. I had bursitis in the knee flare up for 2 different weeks. I still hit 400 pounds. I didn't hit 400 pounds in a front squat. I didn't even hit it in a back squat. I hit it in a box squat. That was the minimum number I had to hit, but I had it where I wasn't specified on what kind of squat it had to be.
Boy.
So don't make your minimum the top set that the coach has necessarily programmed, but be like, you know what? The program is 90%. If I can make 85, I will be happy with that. If I miss the next one, I'm not going to keep chasing that.
Yeah.
And then if I just destroy that top set, I'm going to give myself one more.
Yeah.
What I really hate, and I will be a total dickhead when I see this, when I see someone work up to 98%, completely smoke it, and then not take 101.
Yeah.
And I've had too many people where they will hit 1 kilo under their best, or they will do the unforgivable weightlifting sin, in my opinion, and they will match their PR.
Yeah.
I'm like, put on a second set of clips. Do something that you can say it was more. Right. Don't ever hit your 1 rep. But when I see someone hit 1 under and then walk away after they just smoked it, I'm like, don't be a little bitch and you put on 2 more kilos.
And
they're like,
this.
And I'm not that. That's not how I normally am at the gym. Yeah. But I'm like, no. Now we're in the like. I'm kind of even in my brain rewiring. I'm not calling myself necessarily a coach anymore.
Okay.
I feel that I'm a tinkerer. I like to tinker with people because I don't like to coach new people. I don't like to coach kids. There's a lot of people I don't even want to mess with.
Yeah.
I do coach certain days, but I watch a lot of the people. I'm like, they're like, what do you think? I'm like, more reps. And they're like, well, how do I fix this? I'm like, you need more reps. And they're like, that's all you want me to do? I'm like, yeah, because you're all over the place. You're missing in front. You're missing behind. You're pressing out on your right arm. You're pressing out on your left arm. You need to get more reps. Once you're consistent, I can tinker with you and I can make you better.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to necessarily be coaching people anymore. And I don't want to deal with new people and their attitude. And they're like, oh, well, I think I did this and I did it. I'm like, I don't care. You want to get better or not? Okay, you want to get better? Then listen to me. You don't want to get better? Or you don't want to listen to me? I don't need to talk to you. I don't need to waste my time on you.
Exactly.
So,
and I hope that everybody that listens to this understands that they just got a massive little knowledge drop, because what he's talking about is seizing your opportunity in this sport, because it's not around forever. As long as we want to make it around forever, we're going to make it. But like the idea that we can hit these top weights, let's say 1 to 5 years from when you're hitting it is pretty minimal. I didn't think I'd ever hit 110 again. Yeah. I did. I took the opportunity and I hit it, and that's great. And I'm going to keep on doing that. But I really think what you said is gold, because it's like, if you're smoking that weight, do it again. What's the big deal, dude? Like, come on. Like, are you gonna ruin your life? Are you gonna ruin your competition? Probably not. Are you peaking for a competition? Great. Then you should hit it for confidence. Are you not even working for confidence? Even more reason to go out there and hit that weight. seize that opportunity, because we don't always have it and it won't be around forever. So if you get to weights that are like unvisionable or unseeable by you, and you're like, holy crap, take that damn opportunity, because you got to do it.
And another just little throwing stuff in there. I personally don't like to necessarily go out and hit singles at really heavy weights if I'm wanting to get confident and be out there and like hitting numbers. What I want to start doing is hitting complexes, hitting variations in numbers that's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I'm gonna smoke this meat.
Yeah.
My biggest meet that I ever did, I think it was about 3 weeks out, my best clean and jerk was 170. The week before, I clean front squat jerked 170. The next week, I put on 171. I clean front squat, jerked it. It was a little teeny bit out in front. I could have made it if I went again. And my coach was like, you can take it again. I'm like, no, I'll be fine. I'm going to, and then I hit 175 like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And then a week later from then, I power cleaned 170 and jerked it without a belt. And my last jerk was like 110 kilos before that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need to see all these other things. Like I was hitting heavy triples at opener weights, like not like snatch, drop it, tighten the weight, take a breath, take a drink, go hit it again. Like 3 snatches in 15 seconds.
Yes.
Like a real triple,
like a cycle.
And that's how I like to get comfortable with like being like getting the weight so that you can you're still going to respect the weight, but you're also going to like own those weights.
Yeah.
So.
If you've never felt that, I really encourage you to find a way to feel it, because he's right. Like the second I started tripling 90 kilos in the snatch, I was, there's a feeling you get after you do that. Is like, I'm going to respect the weight, but I'm going to own this shit. And you walk away from that being like, okay, this is cool. Let's see what I'm going to do next week. And dude, seize that opportunity.
One of my favorite lifts I've ever done, it was right after I hit 145, probably it might have been before that, where my best snatch was roughly like 140. Like I think I had it on the program, I was supposed to hit like 300 pounds, 137. Yeah. And I said a couple weeks before that, I'm like, next time I hit this for one, I'm going to try a double. I'm like, if I don't make it, I don't make it.
Yeah.
And I end up snatching it, and it was like, cool. And then they were like, all right, good job. I'm like, I'm not done. And I just walked right back up and I set up, and everyone's like, what is he doing? And it wasn't pretty, but I freaking pulled it off. And it's like, that's how you learn how to get real comfortable with weights. And I wasn't opening it that heavy until years later.
Yeah.
But it just builds that confidence when you're like, I can do this under fatigue. So like, say you go and hit 98%. If it feels really easy, it's almost more impressive to go hit it, to just drop it and do it again than it is to go up. So
I agree. So, dude, I just had this experience when a couple of weeks ago, I'm at the gym. I hit my big snatch. I walk away. I miss 140 in the clean and jerk. And I don't think I told this story on the last show, but I started stripping my bar. I'm like, I just missed the jerk. The clean was fine. Just missed the jerk. Whatever. It's not a big deal. I had a big snatch day. Cool. So I'm stripping my bar 2 platforms down. This guy, totally awesome lifter, fun guy, really nice. His name's Brian. And he was like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, stripping the bar. And he goes, nah, you're going to take another shot. Guess what? And I was like, what? And he goes, I got 140 loaded right here for you. And I'm like, I look up and I look at the person next to me. I was like, well, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Right. So I put my belt back on. I walk over there and I hit it. And I'm like, nice. It wasn't pretty. I walked it out a little bit, and that's okay. But like, point in case right there, like you just go over and you hit it, and it's like all of a sudden you walk away from that being like, holy shit, this turned into from a really good day to one of the best days I've ever had. And those are experiences you remember in the sport. So just do it, like, gosh, stop taking it so seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it, Cornell. This is good stuff. You got anything else?
No.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I know, right? Everybody, thank you for listening. We had a record number of people popping on here today, so might be a good time.
Were they bots or were they real?
I think they were bots.
Okay.
Because they were saying some weird, funny stuff.
Hi. What are you doing? Hi.
What do you
How
think
old
about
are you?
6'7"?
We're old. 6'7".
Can we please ask questions, not weird ones? I'm like, what? FR. I see FR. What's that?
I would
mean?
rather get some weird questions.
I know. I was like, ask all the questions.
Someone wants. This is so much more information that anyone needs to know, but maybe you need to know it. First time I snatched 260 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was lifting in pounds at the time.
Okay.
I got a hemorrhoid, and I'm like, that was maximal right there. My body was literally blowing out whatever those things are in your butthole. And I was like, that was everything I had.
I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. That's awesome.
Someone asked me like a couple weeks ago. They're like, have you ever had like weird injuries? I'm like, I got a hemorrhoid once from snatching at PR. They're like, what? I'm like, it was worth it.
It's so worth it, dude. Doesn't the hemorrhoids go away? You get a little cream put down there and it goes away. Yeah. And honestly, I'd rather get a hemorrhoid from snatching than from like stress at work. So, like, there's that. Dude, this has been
done.
Yeah, this is a great way to end. So, everybody, thank you for listening, and adios. Talk to you later.
Bye.